Hello, good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to Prime Hour on my Media Prime. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of June, 2021. And this day we are going to be discussing on two key topics touching on relationship and marriage, which are for part A, we are going to be looking at how to manage and fix issues with a cheating partner. And on the second part, we are going to be asking the question whether we should investigate gossips or hearsay for our partners. Would you go asking questions, trying to find out what you heard about your husband or wife, and how do we fix such issues? We are discussing this with our regular panelists for Tuesday editions of Prime Hour. Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa is a consultant with the house. He is in the house here with us. We're glad to have you. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, my co-panelists. Good evening, Cameroonians. Another Tuesday again for us to discuss relationship matters. I'm excited to be here because I hear the testimonies coming from this program. They are very encouraging. Families are getting healed. Homes are getting reconciled. Destinies are being reprogrammed for a better future. Thank you.
Okay. We also are in the company of Apostle Alfred Lisinge, who is an expert, a specialist on these issues, who is with us this evening. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. We are here again today. We are grateful to God for this opportunity He has given us. And I want to say that it's going to be a very wonderful time. And I want to tell you that this month of June shall speak well for you out there. And some of you that have been attacking me, you say I am like... I'm against the men. I'm trying to make things so difficult for them. I don't know what you're going to do about me today, because that's exactly what I'm going to do today. So more, just so let's listen to that.
We are also in the company of Apostle Lefoh, divine, all the way from Boya, Southwest Regional Capital. We're glad to have you, beloved doctor.
Yes. It's always an honor. I am excited and I'm really glad to be here again for us to trash the love issues. As the love doctor, we are there to handle the love matters, and actually it's love that can heal the world. So that somebody asked me, why do they call you the love doctor? So we are here to bring healing, bring health, bring life, bring wisdom, bring understanding and knowledge, and it's always an opportunity for us to do that for our nation and for the world at large. Thank you for having me.
Okay, we also are going to be having contributions from Bamenda, the Northwest Regional Capital, through Sanji Yvette. She is an expert on these issues. Most of you have been asking why women are not participating on these love talks on our program. Today we are going to be discussing with one expert in the domain from Bamenda. Sanji Yvette will be part of our discussion this evening, but I will start with you, Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa. What should be our first reaction when we have proofs beyond reasonable doubt that a partner is cheating on us?
Well, there's definitely the shock for most people who don't seem to understand that marriage is a relationship between two imperfect persons. The most at times people overestimate their partners and think that they have gotten married to some superhumans that are beyond mistakes, and so when things like that occur, they are taken aback. Some develop all kinds of sicknesses, stroke, high blood pressure. But to somebody who understands the nature of humans, you should not be taken aback, because humans can do and undo. I've always said that expect the best from your partner as well as you can expect the worst from your partner, because this creature called man, even God himself said in his word that man is desperately wicked. We have emotions, we have feelings, we have sensations that sometimes we are even unable to control those sensations. And as a human being, you are liable to make mistakes. If you got married to a perfect individual, then you should not expect anything bad. But once at the back of your mind, it is registered in your subconscious that you are married to some imperfect individual that can give you any mess at any time, you should be able to understand that you should not kill yourself when a partner is found in an error. It is true that nobody wants to share the husband nor the wife with somebody else, but there are some forces beyond human comprehension in nature that can compel humans with their frail nature to fall into traps like that. The problem is, let every individual getting married know at the back of their mind that the creature they are getting married to, even the creator, has no confidence in that creature. So you should stop having confidence in humans, because God, who is the manufacturer of that raw material, can tell you that he cannot count on the thing he produced. So if you think you are wiser and stronger and more better than God in wisdom, then you better begin to play a role that God cannot play. You should not assume a responsibility that God cannot assume. God himself has said, I am the one that created this man, and there is nothing good in man. So as much as we control our temperaments, our sensations, and our feelings and our affections towards the opposite sex, we should also understand that this human nature is very, very complicated and can be trapped at any time. That's the reason why God gives certain parameters in scriptures for us to avoid the opposite sex if we do not want to be trapped in between the laps of a man or a woman. So I know people who don't have the proper understanding of the fact that human beings are very complicated and are very how do I put it, their people can do and undo. You esteem people so highly that you least get the best from them. God created Adam and Eve and thought that there were some wonderful people, but you see, within a flash of light, man fell, and that human nature is still in humanity today. So we should be very, very careful how we put confidence and trust on our partners and individuals who get married to.
Okay, is that where it should start from? Apostle Alfred Lisinge, should we in engaging in a relationship and also getting married, we should already have that in the back of our minds that it's going to be possible to one day discover that either the wife or the husband is cheating. Should we already have that in mind?
Yes, as a matter of fact, you should be able to register that in your mind from the first time you people start discussing. Not necessarily because it can happen, but from the way you started the whole issue. A lot of you started your relationship with a lot of adrenaline, a lot of emotions and everything. Just imagine you start a relationship with sex. Every moment you are with a girl, with the lady or with the boy, you want to touch, you want to do this, you want to do that. What do you expect when you enter into marriage and that kind of a flow is not going again? Not that she will look for it somewhere else, or he will look for it somewhere else. And that's exactly what we are suffering today. You started a relationship, you showed them that you're very romantic, you're very passionate, because every minute, I want to say that sometimes even behind the electric pole, in back of the house, sometimes you find an opportunity, even in the nightclub, you want to do something there, and before you discover it, you find yourself tying your knots for marriage. What do you expect? You built something that you are not standing for it, because obviously everyone must think, because you think that that woman that you were playing any kind of rubbish with, when you get married, she's going to become an angel overnight. And how many of you think that marriage is the cure for fornication? Marriage is not the cure for fornication. If you can handle that sexual drive, that passion when you were single, especially in an engaged period, or during the courtship, or maybe when you were engaged, maybe in a dating, because some people, even in the first date, you started sleeping with the girl and you did not take note that that was a sign to tell you that this kind of a thing can happen in marriage. You can start a relationship with a girl and the first day you met her, you slept with her. The first day you met her, you slept with her. The first date, please, can we take a drink? And the next minute you go to take a drink, body starts shaking, and before you want to discover, you are sleeping with her. And then you now say, oh, this girl is wonderful, she opened up to me, she's a very nice person. And then the next thing you want to see, you find yourself getting married to that kind of a person. Understand this. Another man will meet her the same way. And when you meet them like that, please don't be shocked, because it is something you saw. It's not something you're seeing for the first time. You saw it before, but that time it was you. That was the captive. You're the one that was trying to hold that person captive. Now you met a guy, you want to marry this guy, and you see the guy is so emotional. The first thing he's talking about romantic issues. Any small moment he wants to call you on phone, he talks about sex. He wants you to send your naked pictures and all the like, and you know, that kind of a thing. You're building something that is going to help to this kind of thing. So expect anything to happen. Expect anything to happen. Now, for a woman to go out and cheat or have that kind of a thing, it's very strange. The society finds that very strange. But for a man, they consider it's almost normal. It's almost normal. When I say normal, almost normal, I'm trying to say that the society have accepted that men will always want to cheat in one way or the other because of what their strength or their weakness is in their eyes. Where when they see a woman, they want to go for it. But the thing is, nobody should be having a shock in marriage, because I always say that anything you see in marriage, you had already seen it during engagement or courtship, but you thought that in the course of marriage it's going to change. But when you enter there, you discover that that thing, instead of changing, is becoming worse. Because of what? You thought that things that are behavioral or maybe emotional or sometimes genetic, you think that it can change overnight. Now, when you get into this particular issue, you find out from the background of this particular girl or this particular boy, you see their family are playboys and playgirls, and you think that when you get married to this guy or to this girl, things are going to be better. These are things that you would have known before entering into it. And then, like you just asked, it is something that people should register in their mind. If I saw this girl is a sexy girl, it was moving on the street with balls all over, and then maybe some very nice shape, and boys were calling her up and down and say, no, I must be the last man standing, like guys used to say, I must be the last man standing. Last man standing to do what? To marry, right? But the inside there expect anything to happen, because that's it.
Expect anything to happen.
Yes.
Good evening to you, Jacques. Hello everyone. Jacques Shiglo. Good evening to you. Etwe Gabriel Elum, David Chamba, Jerry Mba Kungs, and to you, NS Ibui, Jerry, Tem Romeo, Yukop, Yannick, and all of you watching us via social media. Now, the love doctor, he raised the issue that it starts with relationship. Now, you think that maybe when the anointing, when Apostle Ambe will throw anointing on the head, maybe that power to do these things. But is it possible to work these things out before even engaging into a marriage relationship? Can you work out something that will prevent each of the parties from?
Yes, I want to first of all take a little bit from what he said, and I want to first of all address true. There are a lot of things I think we have emphasized here so many times, that a lot of times people don't yet know the dating process and the courtship process, where we see signals. There are a lot of things, the signals that reveals values, that reveals people's mindsets, that reveals also people's strengths and people's weaknesses. But we must bring a balance also, because like Apostle Ambe said, there is no man that does not have a weakness. Okay, but now the problem comes, because are we saying that if somebody had a history of a prostitute, for example, such people should never marry or can never marry? Because it also require a leap of faith. Because if you say that if somebody has done something like that before, let's be sure that it can happen in the house.
Expect.
Okay, we should expect. Now, my point is that I will expect it even from the nicest person as well. I will not only expect but from somebody who had that past, because somebody who had that past can change school when you were facing life. You knew you had a great destiny. You knew you had a great future, even when it did not look like it. I believe these are the kind of standpoints we need to also stand when we are doing that. But not that we should do that emotionally, or we should do that hopefully, or we should do that just with anointing, like you asked about oil and all of those things. There is a place for prayer. There is a place for, because it is God who works in us, both to will and to do his good pleasure. But there's also a place for what? Discipline. There's a place for what? For personal development. There are people who are not Christians who don't drink alcohol. There are people who are not Christians who don't double date. I think you can build a value system. You can check the person's value system, and you can see that this person has less likelihood for it. That does not mean it cannot happen.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening to you, Bakala Foncha, and my friend and brother Prince Nguni, watching from Canada. Imalex, you came to Cameroon and did not look for me. I'm not too happy. Okay. Atem Romeo, good evening to you. You cop and Tabot Rapper, good evening to you. Mark Makole. And to you, Paul Tabugo, and Nene Alain, good evening to all of you watching us. We are going to move over to Bamenda, the Northwest Regional Capital, to get the first reaction of Asanji Jeanette. What should be the reaction when we Asanji, yes. What should be the first reaction when we get to hear that is our partner is involved in such a thing?
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Good evening to the apostles. Good evening to the viewers. We are talking about managing a cheating spouse. The truth is, cheating comes with a lot of mixed feelings. Cheating, talk about it. Don't involve the children in it. Don't tell your children, oh, daddy is having another woman outside there, or mommy is having this or having that. You know, it's never easy, but you need to put yourself together and then take care of yourself. Remember yourself, you are your greatest asset. If you have a breakdown, it's going to affect you, it's going to affect your children, and it's equally going to affect your marriage. So cheating, in those days, I don't know, they say our parents used to endure, and our present generation now can hardly endure to cheating. But very few people leave their homes now or leave their marriages for the sake of one spouse cheating. I've seen many people now fighting for their marriages even after one spouse has cheated. So in everything, you need to calm down yourself, you need to put yourself together, you know, think of what to do that is right. Don't hurry over any decision. Don't attack who your spouse is cheating with. Take care of yourself and think of what to do. Seek counseling. Then you learn how to manage it.
Okay, she's introducing us to on how to react to a situation. Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa. We have seen cases where, because a lady hears of the husband cheating with another, they move to attacking her. We've seen fights, we've seen people coming out with machetes, and we've also seen men moving out to attack other men who are cheating, yes, with their wives. Should that be the posture?
I don't think so. I think when you allow emotions override your reasoning, you can become a coward of yourself. Like I said earlier, when we overestimate people, we can commit suicide when they make mistakes. The reason why God had to attach mercy in life is because he knows the product he created called man is not perfect. Mercy is a virtue that God has set in advance, waiting for your error, because he knows the product. Somebody who makes glass should not be surprised for glass to break. He that has a calabash should not be surprised because the material is breakable. He that has a breakable plate, if you carry it, it breaks, you shouldn't be surprised. So God knows the kind of material he used to make man. It is called flesh. And the activities of this flesh, none is good. Adultery is a product of the flesh. Fornication is not some spirits, it's the nature. So you cannot make a product out of a raw material and then the material reacts towards its originality. Then you begin to get frightened or frustrated. If a piece of cloth is torn, that's the material. If a glass breaks, that's the material. If at all iron bends, that's the material. If you use plastic and it breaks, that's the material. What was used to create man is flesh. And this flesh is a compoundment of adultery, fornication, lies telling, anger. That is the reason why God had to send the Holy Spirit to help sustain this material. So you cannot be surprised when you see what you are made of begins to desire or yearn. Because if you go to the scriptures, the description of the works of the flesh, in other words, God took adultery, fornication, lies telling. I have a plastic material and I will tell you, don't take it close to fire, because I know it will melt. It's the same thing that when a manufacturer produces a product, he will tell you, do not allow this thing to enter into water, because he knows the content of the material. If it enters into water, if it's a phone, it will get bad. He warns you. So you cannot carry the phone and throw in water and then begin to pray for the phone. So those who stay with women in the same room is like throw your wife phone in water and then begin to pray for the phone to come on. You can't pray for phone to come on when you break the rule of engagement. Don't carry your flesh to an opposite sex. It won't hear prayer. It will not hear prayer. So know the content you are made of. Know the stuff you are made of, and avoid anything that will cause that thing to act stupid. For instance, there are people who are not gifted in certain areas. They are very strong in some areas. But if you introduce them in an area, you will see how vulnerable they are. That's the reason why success is always playing to your strength. You don't succeed because you know everything. You succeed because you play to your strength. How do you play to your strength when it comes to the area of cheating? Cheating is to know that the material you are made of will never go close to another opposite sex that it desires and does not have the cravings. So what do? Avoid it. Avoid it. Avoid it. Now, those who take machetes to pursue an opposite sex for having an affair with their wife are people and practically look for a solution on how to solve the problem, because every challenge that comes to our lives is a school given to us to gather experience in order to solve that problem in the lives of other persons. So challenges should not be used as a means to kill people. It should be used as a school for experience.
Okay, Apostle Alfred Lisinge, if in the case where it is confirmed that you have all the evidences that your partner is cheating, what do? You confront them head on?
Let me just throw a little light on what Apostle Ambe was talking about. Then I'll just talk about that, because some people will want to say that God made them to be evil or bad, or put all those kind of things in them. You know, God made man. It's part of you. It's your nature. It's part of your life. From disobedience that came from our forefathers and came right down to us. You see, it came right down to us. All right, now let's look at it from this point of view.
Are you saying we are desperately wicked?
Yes. The heart of man, the nature of man.
Is that not where we fail to think that some people are saints? Yes.
No. Some people explore the knowledge of good. Not that there is. They explore the knowledge of good.
Okay.
But when the knowledge of good goes to a particular extent, you try them, it turns to the other side of evil. And that's why you see a very good man will behave, and they will tell you that is this man that behave like that. You will be surprised. But now, to people who understand, they will tell you that guy has just reached the peak of good. No, the edge of good, and is entering to the knowledge of evil, and then now he reacts so badly. Now, when you are with your spouse, they are caught either red-handed, or maybe someone told you, and from what you're seeing, it is confirmed that is what is happening.
You see pictures, pictures.
You see pictures. Now, the first thing is, especially when you see pictures and all the like, the first thing is, it may be a lie. A lot of things. It can be under duress. She can be trapped by a former boyfriend or some kind of things. She can find herself in a very funny. That's the first thing to start thinking yourself. Maybe she was deceived. Yes, you just put yourself in that condition. She was deceived. She was not herself. Maybe something happened or something. Then it begins to dawn now to you that it actually happened. Now, that's the first thing is it's a therapy. You just want to say, that's not my wife. A lot of people do that. They say, no, tell me it's not true. Tell me it's not true. And they say, no, it's a lie. Then they say, okay, I will find out. Are you sure that it's a lie? They calm down. But after some time, they come to discover that it's true. They say, well, I didn't want to tell you at that time because you were very hot. That's what a lot of people do. I didn't want to tell you. That's why sometimes some things should be handled in a process, not instantly. When you are caught in red-handed, the first thing to do is deny. That's yes.
Apostle.
They call it the adjustment process.
Apostle.
I will tell you now.
No.
Allow me to explain it.
Let us go practical.
Yes.
That you see your wife.
Yes.
With a man.
Yes.
On the bed, and you say.
Let me tell you the 5 stage of adjustment process.
Okay.
The 5 stage. Yes. The 5 stage of adjustment process. The first thing is denial.
Okay.
You have an accident, your hand cut.
Say the hand is still there.
That hand did it. It's not true.
You
go out of the house and you come back and you see the woman there with the man. You say no, it's not true. You take your phone. You understand? Now, then after you discover that it is true, oh God, why me? Why me? Why is it happening to me like this? You understand? And then you now, after some time, you begin to bargain. Father, if you do this to me, I'm going to get something better. I'm going to do. Then you get to the last stage, what is called acceptance stage, where you now say it has happened. What do I do? That's why you see a cripple will just accept and become very proud with the crippled stage, and you ask, but this man is supposed to be very humble and be very shy. What happened? The person has gone to the point of acceptance stage where they have accepted that this is who I am. Now, take that process. It is very healthy. But they tell you that don't deny it for too long because it can destroy you.
Who is denying? The person who was caught or the person?
The person who caught them.
Okay.
Deny it.
I'm getting confused.
Because you are the one that is the victim. You are the victim because they have done that against you. So deny it first. Yes. No, deny it first. Try to say no, it's not happening. Before you now try to see how you can accept it, how you can buy it. Okay, then you now begin to say that it has happened. What do I do? Should I confront my wife? Should I take my wife to the family? Should I call some other person to come into this? It depends on the reaction of the wife. Some wives are very proud. At that moment in time, she will start bringing blames. Small thing, you know, be fit for do one. You can't go small one round, you know, if you continue number 2 round. All that kind of thing then. And then, are you man enough? You are not man enough. Now when you begin to say that, you spark the man's anger and bitterness, and the man only gets up thinking of how to kill you, because that's the point of killing. You have already killed the person first.
Yeah, but you are talking for the woman. What of the case of the man?
The case of the man, some men are very proud. Some men are very proud. You cannot even satisfy a man on the bed that you're coming here. When you see this kind of a thing, instead of you to come and talk to me calmly or wait for me in the house, you are talking here. You know, they begin to be very proud. But what should they do? At that point where you are caught, the first thing is, oh my God, the devil has dealt with me.
Yes. Not what you think.
Yes, the devil has dealt with me. Please, let's not talk about this now. I know you're hot. We'll talk about it after. Even if the man wants to be violent, I say anything you do now, you're right. Even if you want to kill me now, you're right. But the truth is, we are in a dangerous position for us to take a decision at this moment. Let us wait at this. Go home. Or if it was in your house, you said, okay, let's sit down first and think of something and what to do. And that is it. It's reasoning. That also comes with how the relationship between you and your wife. If it was someone that you never expected that the person would do that, or the person that be hiding something and then you never expected, what will happen? It will shock you the more. But someone that you suspected and you already expect that he can do that, it will not shock you like when you never expected.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo, and to all in the studio. If a spouse is cheating, the other partner should first of all find out the cause and work on it without the knowledge of the spouse. But when there no change, dialogue is the best way to manage such things. Marie is writing from Bamboo. Marie, good evening to you. I don't know whether it's the Bamboo after Mbongo. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Tell the man of God I can't deny such when I see it. Okay? Okay. God bless you, sir. Please, Apostle Ambe, I don't agree with the fact that God created man with materials of fornication, adultery acts. Man was the perfect image. Man became corrupt after coming in contact with the servants and ate of the fruit. Apostle Ayon. Okay, serpents rather. Good evening to you, Apostle. Good evening.
Is that not the man that is is that not the man that ate the fruit that is living now?
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Batengong Emmanuel from Douala. Mr. Liu, this says in 2 Corinthians 5:17 that if any man be in Christ, he is new creation. I believe even if you meet the most sexiest person and he genuinely accepts Christ, this person will survive any temptation in marriage, because Christ living in her or him kills the works of the flesh, gives victory over the works of Satan. Yes, can you react to this? That is, if you are in Christ, you have to overcome all the temptations. And yes,
no. You see, this is one of the things that affects religious people. I must be honest.
Okay.
This is one of the things that affects. That's why you see a lot of times religious people are the people who kill their wounded soldiers.
Call it church people.
Okay, yeah, that's what I want to call. No, it's yes, church people now.
Yes.
Religious people. They that's why it's easy to kill wounded soldiers. That means they kill their own wounded soldiers. Why? Because we claim to.
there's no longer I who lives, but Christ.
Yeah,
lives
so
in
they
me. So since Christ lives in me, I cannot fornicate.
No, it's not an impossibility, because even the Bible says, flee youthful lust, flee. That means they did not tell you to stand and contend. They did not tell you to stand and rebuke. You don't, a girl does not come and is undressed and you say, I rebuke this undress. No, you will.
No. you are filled with the Spirit, you will not fall temptation.
No. In fact, the truth there is this. I told a young man that if a girl undresses in front of you and you don't have an erection, go to the hospital. Come for deliverance. Come, let me pray for you. If you go to the hospital, it is not normal, because a human being is supposed to be moved by the opposite sex. That is why we protect ourselves by avoiding intimacy. I think we should really handle this. That's why sometimes when this happens, people will be like, now wait, it really happening. In fact, overconfidence is the reason why many people have fallen into certain things. Now, because I say now you will not fall into temptation because the spirit, you don't fall into temptation. No. That's why sometimes when some people finally, something happens, or kind of person will be like, hey, even the kind of man too. If I were growing up, I think you can bear witness. To avoid this flesh from responding to that is discipline.
So whatever
it is
level,
discipline.
Whether
you are a pope, whether you are the pope of popes, whether you are the bishop of popes, whether you are His Excellency, the Royal Highness, or Assistant Christ Jesus, no, you flee. That is the prescription. You flee. It's not a spiritual thing.
Apostle Ambe, you think that anointing cannot help us overcome temptation? Jesus overcame temptation.
Mr. Liu, thank you for this question. This is what I was teaching yesterday.
Okay.
What comes from your blood is stronger than the oil on your head. That is the reason why most pastors are suffering from what they deliver others from. Oh yes. There are pastors that will cast out sickness and die of sickness. There are men that will cast out adultery and they are sick of adultery. There are pastors that will pray against anger in your life and they are suffering from anger. You begin to ask questions if the anointing upon them could not deliver them. It's a lie. You as a man who is anointed, your anointing is to serve the people. You get delivered by revelation. It is knowledge that delivers people. And this is the reason why we are suffering. I said here that the nature, the material that God used to make man is not a trusted material. Just like the Chinese will make a phone, they will tell you where not to put that phone. Avoiding to put that phone there will give that phone a long lifespan.
Because if the material was a trusted material, it will not.
They will not tell you not to put it there.
No, the material. If the human being was a trusted material, they will not eat from the serpent.
Of course. If the material was a trusted material, God will not tell you flee fornication. He will not tell you. The material that is used to make man called flesh, take it from my mouth, whether Christians accept it or not. Many of these holier
no. By that time, they did not have the knowledge of good and evil. They don't know what was good.
No, we are talking now, Apostle. We are talking.
Yes, they didn't know it. So it was just an empty man.
We are talking the pre-Adamic era. We are talking about after Adamic era, which is you and I.
Good. Yes, that's what.
So what you saying that God created my man was
no, he is the one that is trying to bring. Is mixing up. That's what.
I heard a young man wrote there, says an apostle who said that man was perfect when God created. Man is not perfect now. Jeremiah said the heart of man is desperately wicked.
Yes. Now
God says no man after the flesh.
Yes.
You cannot classify somebody by his physical manifestation.
But how you look at him, his pious nature, his piousness.
So this product called man now, the one I'm talking with sitting here, this Apostle Ambe Valentine sitting here, which is called man. This Mr. Liu here, this Apostle Divine here, is not to be trusted.
Can manifest anything.
Because they can manifest anything that you least expect. Let us be realistic.
Yes.
That's the truth. So when people see a religious mentality has encapsulated their faculties and they are talking about the fact that people are God created man after the fall of man has not recovered. And know that salvation is in 3 dimensions. There is the instant salvation, the regeneration of your spirit. There is a continuous salvation, the transformation of your soul based on information. There is a final salvation when this celestial body shall be changed to celestial. This body is not safe. That's why sickness still touch it. That's why adultery still follow it. That's why fornication still hits it. The body is not safe. What God saved was your spirit. And your soul is undergoing a therapeutic treatment by the word of God. So take it from my mouth. Now, because God knows that this body we are talking about cannot be confided in, He gives you a solution. Flee away from it. I know this material. That's the solution. You cannot take a phone that they have written on a manual that you can use it phone to call, you can do WhatsApp, you can do Facebook, you can do this, but don't allow it to touch water. The elements we have used to make that phone is not resistant to water. The material I made you with is not resistant to breast, buttocks, and private parts. Let us accept this reality. So what do? In order to give the phone a long lifespan, avoid water. In order also to give your body away from cheating, avoid the opposite sex, especially in private places. This is the man I'm talking about. Don't tell me that the man that God created was perfect. Are you contributing because you want to educate people or you want to hear your voice? That's the problem.
Okay.
In Galatians chapter 5 verse 21, the Bible says, these are the works of the flesh. Read it, you will hear it.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo and all the apostles. I am Marilyn, writing from Ngwa. Good evening to you, Marilyn. Hi, Mr. Leo. Good evening to the crew on board. I'm Williams from Limbe. Mr. Leo, some men are cursed with cheating that needs to be delivered. I've seen friends that develop a cheating habit just because they want to cheat. I see that as a curse, not normal. Some cheat because they share their marital problems to wrong friends that will also advise them to cheat in the name of catching fun. Thank God for your program. This is Isaiah in Muyuka. Is it good to engage or surprise your fiancé with a ring in the presence of his or her parents? That is a question I ask you. Somebody should answer that later on. Wow, what an educative program tonight. Apostle Ambe and Alfred are my icons, role models. They are very categorical. Can they endeavor to help me get connected to God? Fearing and faithful lady, Mr. Atut Nikobel, writing from Muyuka. Yeah, similarly. Okay, you call them. Good evening, Mr. Liu. This is an interesting topic. Firstly, people must know that marriage isn't a spell for transformation to occur. A cheat in dating can be a cheat in marriage, except that individual decides to change. Secondly, getting into marriage expects everything. Madam Best B. The first thing to do is know your partner, learn to forgive each other's excesses. Lastly, it is dialogue. Okay, Madam, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Leo and the apostles. It's Faith from Bamenda. Please help me. A woman has accused cheating over and over. I am Ringo Mongo, writing from Douala. Most cheating partners are psychopaths. They can never change. You either accept them the way they are or you leave. Okay. Good evening to everyone in the studio. I'm Nuri Amin from Bamenda. My question is to the man of God. Statistics show there are more women than men in the world. Majority of people killed in war and prisons are men and constitute to these statistics. Now, if a man marries one wife, there are more women to be left without husbands, and they have sexual urge as humans. To satisfy these women, do you encourage extramarital affairs or polygamy? That's a topic for another debate. Let's move over to Bamenda and get the second reaction of Yvette Asanji.
Put your spouse down. That's when they have accepted that what they did was wrong and they're actually willing to change. That one makes it really better. The one that makes it really difficult is the one that the spouse is not even accepting that such thing happened. They are defensive, they are even abusive. Some spouse, even after they cheat on their spouse, they still become even more aggressive and abusive. You hear a man shouting at his wife, "Why did you even touch my phone?" Because you wanted to see negative things in it. That's why you've seen it. And so now you've seen it. What next? You know, that is really kind of it is more demoralizing. If you've already been caught in the act of cheating and you don't accept it, you become defensive and even abusive, then you need to face the consequences of what will happen to your marriage. But if we're talking about fixing it, it's when the spouse that has cheated has accepted and is willing to change. So in that case, you put your spouse down, you find out from them where you've gone wrong. Maybe there's something you're doing that you're not supposed to be doing. Maybe there's something that you are not doing that you were supposed to be doing. But I know that cheating is an aspect of self-discipline, a lack of self-discipline. It is not a spouse that pushes someone into that. But let's say most cheaters, they hide behind the fact that my spouse pushed me into this. So okay, yeah, put them down, ask them, is there something I was supposed to do that I wasn't doing? Or is there something that I was doing that I wasn't supposed to be doing? Okay, in most cases, I've heard cheaters say, oh, I don't know, it's just a personal problem with me. Okay, if they accept that it's a problem with them, you get to find out if it's a weakness. What happens? How can you come in to help them overcome that weakness? You talk about it, and then what you need to do is you work hand in glove with them. They should get disconnected from who that cheat is. Stay away from that cheat. If it's Facebook or Messenger, WhatsApp, whatever, they should disconnect from them, and then you seek counseling to rebuild trust. It is not easy, but trust can gradually be reinstated into the marriage, even though it's really difficult for it to come back all.
Okay, thank you, Sanji, contributing from a member there. Apostle, what should be the step that, or the posture of most men caught in cheating? Because I've received more than 10 messages yesterday and today of many women who are crying, weeping, that they are in a very difficult situation. Their husbands are cheating. They know very well. They are crying, begging for these things to stop, but it's difficult. What many men are watching, I'm sure they are with their wives, and their wives will want to get practical solutions from us on what to do to get the men stop this habit, or to some, I don't know.
Yeah, like someone was just talking about the cheating issue there, when the husband is caught, and then maybe what. What I think is we should understand, some people cheat for different reasons. People cheat for different reasons. Some, it may be a genetical problem. It may just be that in their family lineage they can't do without getting 2, 3, 4 wives. And since they think that it is really socially not accepted to get married to 4 wives, or it's very demanding to get married to 3, 4 wives, they just begin to get concubines, and so on and so forth. And some of them use the Bible as a defense mechanism, saying that David and Solomon, all of them had so many wives. Even in the church, there are a lot of people. I was talking with one other lady the other day. She also expressed to me how the man does not only cheat on her, but the man beats her at the end of the day, even after she wants to talk. And there is nothing she can do. Even when she tries to go to the church to report to the pastors say we should only pray. You know, we should only pray. Now, find out the condition of this man, why he cheats. Find out, because you must know it. Like somebody said, no, a cheater is a cheater always. It's not true. Some people may cheat for some kind of reason, because some of these girls, the way they sit, especially in some of our churches, has led so many people into evil. Some of them, they will sit, and some men cannot do without seeing pants, especially those who had certain problems before, sexual issues before they come. Immediately they see a pants, they want to, like some guys, they have that particular zeal, they have that particular it's like a promise they made, that any girl I see her pants, I must do everything to sleep with her, that kind of a thing. And then you come to church, you think that you've come to a place of rescue. The next thing you see is one girl that has just sat, throw the legs openly, and may the Lord have mercy for most of our pastors who we see some of those things, especially those ones who cannot, they're not verbose enough to speak it clearly in the church, to say that this kind of a thing. And some of these girls, they have decided to design different ways of bringing down a man. So in that kind of a case, you cannot hold that man captive and say, no, this man can never change. Now what will happen is just to sit down, reshuffle, take a retreat, try to build some morals and some standards again, and before you move on. That kind of a thing. But a man, that is a problem, because some of these girls should not pretend as if they didn't know that this man was like that, even when they were engaged, because the man showed them a lot of signs. That's what we're trying to say here. You saw a lot of signs, even on you yourself. You saw how he was dealing with you, and then hiding it from pastor, hiding it from church people. You people were hiding it, hiding. Now the time he has come now, and he's also doing hide from other people. Now you want to go and tell pastor. That's where the whole thing is. So what to do with this kind of men? Find out, sit down, talk with them, discuss with them. What's the problem? Some men want 5 rounds, 6 rounds, but you, girl, you can only give him 1 round. And when you give 1 round, you begin to complain. You are tired. How can he be going for that kind of a thing? Some other men, they like when they hit you very hard. But now when they want to hit you very hard, you see, it's painful. It's painful. So they want to get to someone that when they hit hard, the one will instead be happy or be crying and be liking it. That kind of a thing. Now, some of you, when you are doing some things, you are there killing mosquitoes on the wall instead of you to react and be participating in what is happening. So this man wants somebody that when they are doing something, this girl should be crying. Hey, I'm enjoying, it's nice. They want somebody that talks to them. And these free girls out there, they talk to people better than some of our wives, because our wives sometimes are very funny. You are doing these things. Yes, they do these things to you, and you are just staying on the bed as if you are a stick or some kind of things, that kind of a thing. That's why Apostle Ambe does not like me, because these are the kind of things I'm going to be talking here in this kind of place, because I want to be very frank. Why some of our men go into these things, and how can you help them? Participate with them on the bed. Ask them how they like to have this sex. Sometimes learn them and make sure that it goes well. Oh, I am spoiling this man now because your wife is not here in this nation. Let me just leave it there for now. But especially, please satisfy your man. Try to see. Like I said that.
Yeah, but many women are in difficulties. What should the men do? Forget about this men. The men would want. What should they do? Should they also pity their wives?
No, there is nothing like pity. This thing is sometimes beyond control. Emotions are very dangerous.
Okay.
When you have seen a woman that has some kind of hips, and then your wife is dressing with some kind of dresses that does not even show the hips and some kind of things, because this woman like hips, this man like hips, because even some pastors, you see pastors struggling to look at a girl's hip. The girl will pass, they will be looking at the hips of that girl, and then you go back to your wife, you are struggling to look at the hips. The wife has used clothes and cover it, one big gown and cover on those kind of things. It is very distracting. It makes you not to feel good. So a man in that is helpless.
Okay.
Yes, the man is helpless. So we should instead beg our girls to help our men. Keep, especially neighbors, because some of you are helping neighbors a lot.
Good evening to you, Mola Ikema, always watching. I'm sure from Paris, and to you, K, Buma Petit Pro, and to you, Domogbe Daniel. Good evening to you, Ago Regel Temba, Tro Teresia Etengene. Good evening to you, Anita Eno, or loving out there. Ephraim Te, good evening to you too, Mark Macaulay. Yes, very difficult moments here, but where how do we fix it? Is it from identifying what is not right in the house?
Yeah, I think this fixing, let's talk about this fixing right from, because a cheating partner, it also involves married and unmarried. Let's start from unmarried. I think first, there are a lot of things. The truth is, most of the times, many girls or many guys saw things, but I want to start from the girls. They saw things, but some of them were too desperate. The need for marriage made them to turn a blind eye to a lot of things. They saw. It's just like how there are many women. It's when they have got to marry the first, I say, "Mo, pray for my master. No, I want to may stop scamming. I want to may stop this." You knew he was a scammer. You knew his money was not clean, for example.
Yes.
Now, but you wanted him. You were enjoying it. It was benefiting you, and all of those kind of things. So many people assume that marriage would change everything. We have said it here very clear that the marriage will not, a man will not change because you have landed him in the house, or because you have won, because some women think like, no, I always say this, I say this to many women, you are not the Holy Ghost. So women will be like, I will change him. You cannot change a man, neither can a man change a woman. You can inspire, just like how mentors inspire, just like how great people inspire, just like what the environment can affect. Somebody can create an environment for positive change, but you cannot be the Holy Ghost to change a person. In fact, even God cannot change a person who does not want to change. It is very clear that you see that a lot of people that can go their own way, because that was so. Then even love is a choice. So I want to really say this, that from that level they should begin to look at the realities, but we must also make it very clear. Cheating comes for different reasons, and that is what I want to emphasize, because whether you like, there are some people that believe that one woman is not enough, and as a man thinks, so is he. As long as you believe that one woman is not enough, there is just nothing that one woman can do. Except you will try to be multiple women. But if a man thinks that one woman is not enough, you see, that's why sometimes you see the Muslims can easily accommodate some of these things, their religion, because at times even your background affects this.
Like some people in the Muslim background, it's very normal for a man to marry up to 3 women and put in the house. But 4, up to 4. They have the liberty to get married up to 4. So you see them living together, all of those kind of things. Nowadays, you see some people, there are many women. They are complaining like this. They started dating a man. We are talking about these things. There are many women who are dating a married man and they are hoping to marry the person. It happens. Sometimes we're talking about these things like this. Even the girls, they are hoping to marry, and some are willing to marry. Let's put everything down. You understand? It's a two-way thing.
Some are willing to be the second wife.
Yes, some are willing to be a second wife. So you would discover it's not just a one-way thing. But sometimes the problem is that maybe culturally or in their religious system, it is not permitted. That's why even some Christian circles, some people are accepting it. But in some Christian circles, it does not permit. So you see, as a person who does not want to drop his status because maybe they will not respect you in that Christian cycle, what do? They maintain. I know people who are maintaining very serious relationships as long as some relationships, even as long as the marriage is at home. Yes. Some people were even having relationships like we saw of Bill Gates. Some people were even having relationships that even predates the one of the person they finally got to marry. Because sometimes somebody can cheat because it was external influence that got them to marry that person. That was not the woman they wanted to marry, but maybe family, pastor, all of these things first. So I want us to be, please, 1 minute. Let's be very clear about that. And if therefore now, that's what we were talking about, understanding the cause or understanding the root. If you understand it now, because for some people, if it is a moral system, discipline can work. If it is a mindset, there will have to be a recalibration. If it is influence, maybe the person, some people might even cheat because of their friends. Maybe the influence, their friends are doing it, then they do it. You might need to change that, and all of those kind of things. So, and then some also is because of lack of sexual satisfaction. Let's also put this on the table. The truth is that some people's sexual fantasy has not been met at home, and if it is not met at home, they will look for a place to have that sexual fantasy. So sometimes we need to be honest, especially even when I do counseling. I always tell people, be honest about your sexual fantasy to your friend. I say it to Christians because I know that they pretend. Me, I know that can touch me, so many. Be honest about your sexual fantasies, because if it is not satisfied at home, they will look for it somewhere else.
They will look for it somewhere else. Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa, can we effectively stop cheating? What are those things that should be done to stop either the man or the woman from going out there?
Those are questions that practically have no direct solution. It has to do with individuals. They don't have a generic solution. But one thing I will say that as if you compare the age before this age, cheating has increased in this age because of so many reasons. Yeah, the coming of social media, the coming of sexy dresses, yeah, the coming of prostitution is almost a business now, which was something very difficult to find in those days. We are almost exposed to sexual pictures at every turn of the eye, to the extent where it looks like if people do not advertise their things with naked women, people will not buy. Pizza is advertised with a woman that wears string pants. A car is advertised, the lady that wears string pants and just bras. Hamburger is advertised, the lady that has just her breast. Almost everywhere. There are channels you will even zap and then reach thinking that you could sit here and get something substantial, yet you still get it very, very frustrating. The church, which we used to see as a place whereby a certain level of sanity and purity is another challenge. The kind of dresses some people wear into some churches, and there are even pastors on social media who teach their Christians how to sex very well. These are the things that sometimes I don't know if you have come across that video. I've come across at least 3 videos where pastors are doing lectures in front of the church on how to use different styles on women. Such kind of pictures already start planting images in the hearts of people and their children. So the sexual pictures and the fantasies and the images are almost everywhere that you don't even know the channel to watch anymore. So it's so strong. Now with the arrival of the internet, social media, you belong to different groups. People don't even follow protocols. They will just send some kind of naked pictures and sexual postures of different kind. So the desire and the publicity for sex has increased in a very high rate in our days as compared to the time where technology had not grown. Now, coming to individuals, I think that an individual can decide to stop cheating based on his personal decision. I was listening to Bishop David Oyedepo recently. He said something about the social media, and he said it has consumed people's time more than even reading education. People are more low mentally these days than the way they were before social media came. People can spend 7-8 hours on social media. They cannot spend to read a single book to improve their mentality. And that is another serious challenge we have now, which is a very, because now there are sites where people can even plug into different sites in the internet. You see all kinds of images. So it's very delicate. So well, let me learn, Mr. Leo. I'm talking about one man making a decision to come out of this mess. Know the kind of product you are. One day I took my phone to the kitchen. My wife said, honey, it is not good to bring your phone close to a gas. She learned it. I took the phone out. I saw a picture where somebody took the phone to the kitchen and the gas exploded the phone and then fire caught them. That is knowing very well that everything on earth is a necessary evil. Everything, man, aeroplane, car, phone, marriage, they are all necessary evils. Now, if you only know the evil attached to it and then avoid it, it will help solve a lot of problems. There is nothing on earth, I repeat, that is perfect. Okay.
I disagree with Apostle Divine, saying a man gains erection when any woman removes the dress. If not so, the man should go to the hospital. I want to ask Apostle Divine whether he will gain erection when the mother or the junior sister or mad woman undresses in front of him. Erection depends on the mindset of the concerned person. Sumbele Kelvin, writing from Kongsamba. He goes further to say, I want to disagree with Apostle Ambe too, who says we should not react to the person cheating with our partner. I want to ask how he will handle a best friend who is only struggling to have sex with your wife, especially when you traveled. And let me finish. And your wife complained to you that it is above her to handle. What should be done? Yes, but in that case, the guy is still disturbing. We are talking of a case.
Your wife is confronted by another person. If she respects you, honor you, and doesn't want to defile your marriage, she should be able to make the man understand that she's married.
Okay.
And I think it's that context. What I said here, let's
put it in context. I think that guy, he's taking something out of context here. My point is this. Even a normal person cannot be attached to everybody because everybody has likes. For example, some people, a dark girl might not turn them on. Some people, fair girls might not turn them on. But we are saying that generally, a man is excited by what he sees. Okay, that's just how it is.
Hello, Mr. Leo. Good evening, and to all, especially greetings to Pastor Ambe. Please, I want to find out. I'm not living together with my spouse. How can I know if he's cheating on me or not? Esther is writing from Kumba. Esther, pray God will give you revelation. Tabot Machiavelli, watching us from Yaoundé. Good evening to you. Esther writing from Yaoundé, say good evening, Mr. Leo, and to everyone in the house. I'm enjoying the program and the same time learning. Apostle Lisinge, take it easy. Esther from Yaoundé. Yes. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Is Ekele from Bonaberry. To me, I believe that cheating can be stopped in a relationship when both parties change in their individual attitudes. Okay. Good evening to you all. This is Forcha Boris. This issue of cheating nowadays is not too bad due to the society we live in. It becomes bad when you do it openly to the knowledge of your partner. Even if the spouse should cheat, it should be done in secret to avoid problems. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. One of your panelists has embarrassed me by saying that even God cannot change someone who is not willing to change. I want to know from him if he knows that God is supreme. Eno Mulu, but writing from Bamenda. I'm not sure that is what they said. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Frank Apostles, linking societal reality to Bible teaching. I'm enjoying your program with my wife. Linus is writing from Bamenda. This one says, good evening, Mr. Leo. I please with the apostle to help me connect with God again. I was once connected with him, but it is not more the case today. I don't really know what happened. Please, apostle, help me. I have been a different person today. I have changed negatively. Please help me. Taku Michael is writing from Kongsamba. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Very interesting topic and well-seasoned panelists. Cheating is as old as the Bible itself, so let's just condition our minds, like Pastor Ambe said, and just forgive a cheating partner and move on with life. I'm Glennis writing from Bamenda. Fanny writing from Yaoundé says, good evening to the Prime R crew. Kudos to you guys. Good points from the apostles, especially the love doctor. Hello, good evening to you all in the studio. I'm enjoying the program. I'm Gabriel Fonge writing from Yaoundé. Tuesday's editions have lots of contributions from Yaoundé. I don't know why. If in the case the man you got married to is not really the one you love and you were being forced to eat your parents, and on that marriage you are not happy, no matter how hard you try, it's still going. Please, Pastor, I need an advice, please, and you still have feelings for the one you loved. Berta is writing from Bamenda. Apostle Lisinge will answer you. Mr. Kum, those clergymen should select their choice of words and body language. Children are watching. Onkunji is writing from Bamenda. I hope the message is gone through. Good evening to everyone. Cheating should be treated from two perspectives, the natural and the spiritual. The natural will go with people who don't understand why Christ came, and the spiritual is with those who know Christ came, but the nature of sin is at work as in the days of Adam and Eve. I think the topic should be, why do people cheat? And I will simply answer by saying that human beings are selfish, self-centered, and above all, not Jesus Christ. Okay. The CEO of Sparkling writing there, Kista Kulu. Good evening to you and to Madam. I'm sure you both are watching the program. Yes, good evening, Mr. Liu. Cheating in relationships is mainly because of the feeling of not being loved by your partner. You can give or show love to your partner in the best way you know, but your partner will not feel loved by you. This is better. Love has 5 languages, and each of us often speak and understand only one or two of them. These are the love languages: words of affirmation, acts of service, giving gifts, physical touch, quality time. And Bamboo Roman writing from Kribi. Okay. You're also a love doctor, eh? Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Menget Kingsley from Batibo. I want to know, is it good to solve your marriage problem with the third person involved? Ngwa says, good evening, Mr. Liu. Thanks very much for this wonderful program. The Bible says that the whole creation is waiting for the earnest manifestation of the sons of God. This is the age of truth. We ought to speak truth to ourselves. We have passed through the age of the law, where God was seen in Moses. Jesus came with grace and truth. The flesh is civilized because of our physical education, and the spirit is uncivilized because it has not been educated. The soul needs teaching, not preaching. Okay. Ngwas is watching from Moliko. Pilo says, good evening to you all. Love all, but trust none, not even yourself. Talk less of your partner. Pilo. Okay, you have an answer to our sister?
Yes, most people are suffering from this particular fantasy. I'll call it fantasies, because you're already married to someone else, and then the one you loved before is there. Because most people don't really marry the one they really liked. They marry the one that is available. And that's why they find themselves into those trouble.
The one that can solve their problems, eh?
That's it now. It's availability. Yeah. It's availability. You're available. You're ready to marry now, and you have the money and this kind of. But the other one you love does not have the money, but he knows how to sex well. He knows how to do other things very well. That kind of a thing. So it's like that. He knows how to romance you. He knows how to take you to clubs. He knows how to take you to other places. But the one in the house can't do all those kind of things. You're bound to have those kind of problems. So you did a scale of preference, and you choose the other one. So you can learn to manage that, because it's a scale of preference you did, and you preferred that you enter into marriage with someone that is not romantic, someone that cannot sex well, someone that does not know how to take somebody out, someone that is insecure, someone that can beat you with her hands, and that kind of a thing. So you choose that, and you should be ready to take some consequences into it, because every decision we make in life is a matter of choice. You choose the other side. God said, I put good and evil before you. Choose good so that you may live. That kind of a thing. But so when you choose bad, you're bound to find yourself yourself in such a situation. And I want to tell you that you have to start learn to live with the man you are with, because legally you're married, spiritually you're married, in your village you're married. So that kind of a thing. So it affects you negatively if you have to be going behind and going to meet the other person that you love, because a lot of spiritual things will go wrong with your life, not only with your life, with your marriage. And there will be a time where that particular person you are still loving is loving another person. That's the truth. The person you are dying to kill yourself to love is loving another person. And this our sister from Kumba was trying to talk about, my husband is somewhere, I don't know whether my husband is sleeping with another girl. My sister, the problem is that you didn't know your husband. That's the kind of thing we trust, the trust issues. You have a trust problem. If you trust your husband, why don't you trust? Why don't you allow him to be there? And then why do you not also think that your husband is also thinking that you are also cheating where you are? That kind of a thing. So especially this fiancé issue that people marry from left to right and that kind of a thing. If a man has not yet gotten married to you, don't begin to assume that he will just want to leave every other woman to cleave to you. The only day he will make that particular decision is on the altar, and I will cleave to no other woman. I will leave other women out of this world, and then I will choose only you. At that time he has made a covenant that will work against him if he goes out for other things. And I want to tell you that never learn to take judgments into your hands. Judgment belongs to God. Never learn to punish people by yourself. Punishment belongs to God.
No revenge.
Vengeance belongs to God. That's what I'm trying to say. You cannot revenge very well. Let me tell you the truth. If you really want to revenge, you don't know how to revenge. But God knows how to revenge on people. If you allow it in the hands of God, God knows how to do it.
Okay.
And he will do it in such a way that maybe you even beg him that Papa God, I believe so.
We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we discuss our second topic for tonight. You're watching Prime on my Media Prime, and this for the second topic, we are going to be asking the question whether we should investigate gossips about our partners or hearsay stories about them. We are going to start from South Africa with this contribution from Mr. John Ndanji. What does he think about this question?
Good evening, Mr. Leo, Apostle Ambe, Apostle Lefoh, and Apostle Alfred. I know at the time you guys would start your show, it will be the evening. Right now in Johannesburg, we're still in the just early evening period, which is around about 4 o'clock. Mr. Leonard, I have just been reading a book that talks about how to behave in relationship. And when I saw your questions, I was very impressed, and I thought I should chip in 1 or 2 words. Should you investigate gossip? I would say yes. You have to investigate, because you are not very sure of what has been said. It's true. The grapevine that happens in organizations, companies, and families is the same all over. If you do not investigate, you are doomed to get yourself into a position where you cannot easily come out. There are 3 things involved when you talk about gossip. 1, try to access that information. Find out that information. Where does that information come from? 2, assess that information. Think about it by yourself. Can this be real? Before you assimilate, you put all the information together and say, I have to say this, or I have to contribute to this. Let it be the truth, because you have your facts. Many people do not have facts, and they do it. And I say, try as much as possible to get your facts. Do not lie. If I go to the next question, your next question says how to manage fix issues with cheating partner. Who's a cheating partner, your wife or your husband? How do you know they're cheating? I would normally say, don't come tell me that you saw my wife with a man kissing. Maybe that's her brother. You don't know. Come and tell me you've been seeing my wife somewhere, or come with a different story. You've been seeing my wife visiting this person that I told you that is my uncle or my cousin. Let me start doubting it. Take me around that corner one day because you've seen her. Let me see for myself. Let me access it. It's very, very bad to make assumptions on discussions you do not know or on things you do not know. Because when you understand fully a situation that happens in your house, you know how to manage the situation. But when you do not understand, you can manage a situation badly. Many a time, we've made decisions and we regret those decisions. I work in an office where there is grapevine. People would say what they want to say, but they do not take the time to find out. And when they find out, they realize that was not true. They start biting their own words. I listened to one funny comedian, a Nigerian called Oke Bakassi. He says, when you want to know your wife is cheating, just tell that man that I don't like the way your wife behaves. Or tell another woman I don't like the way your wife behaves. Every time you're not in, I can see this and that coming here. You know, when you say that, then they start telling your own story. But I'm not saying that is correct as well. Manage your situation by doing the three things. Access, assess, then you assimilate. When you've gathered all information, you talk with facts. And this thing goes beyond.
Okay, thank you, John Danji, contributing there from South Africa. You've listened to him. He says that there is every reason to investigate what we hear about our partners.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. I would say it's a dangerous thing.
Okay.
Personally, when you immediately hear something and the tendency is for you to believe it, because most of the time I'm talking about a negative thing. When your first reaction to a negative information is to believe it, then there is a problem, especially for somebody you love, for somebody you marry. Maybe it means that either trust has been broken, you don't believe in that person, because a person you love, a person you cherish, a person you have chosen to be a partner, you are a defense to. There is a natural defense when you hear something. Now, that does not mean that the person might not have done it, but if your natural disposition, heart disposition is to embrace it and start panicking, something is wrong. Now, I will never, like we talked the other time, I said there's no reason I'll be taking my wife's phone to be looking around and asking, who is she texting? Because if you like, put B in the house. If they want to do something, they will do it. And we all know that. We will want people to love us, not because they are forced to, but because that's who they are and that's how it is. So I will never encourage. Now, we are talking about a gossip is a gossip. You understand? A hearsay is a hearsay. I can never condone with somebody who brings me negative information about my spouse. I don't care if it is true or not. Now, don't bring it to me. I don't want to know. Let it happen. Don't be the channel. Don't be a carrier. The truth is, we must not allow ourselves to be carriers of bad news. No, don't allow yourself to be a carrier of bad news. When somebody came and told David that I am the one who killed your arch enemy, and he was even lying. David cried for one day and came and said, you no fear. And he was even lying. He was not even the one. But David said, you don't bring that kind of news to me. That is not information. Don't bring something that is not worth celebrating. If I don't make it upon yourself. You will see sisters in church who are not married. Their own is to always come and tell pastor, you know, I see sister this for around my house. I see for around 8 p.m. He come over this side. I see this man. He never go for Sunday compound. I've gone to a hotel, and as I was coming out with somebody who was going to school. Is like a family member. Now I went there to do something. Now when I was coming back, I saw this group of young men. They were going up and we were just leaving. It was at Parliamentary Flat. Now the way this girl was dressed, it was kind of related. You know, somebody dressed a kind of way, but you don't even have the ability to. But now I saw the way those people were looking at me. Now when they look at me, I was just laughing, and then the girl was laughing, and then she knew what they were thinking. She laughed until then she was wanting me again. Now I can just, and she's feeling like that because of who she is. You understand? And we were going that same day before her knocked door. Now imagine that somebody can carry that image and say, hey, you no go believe place where a massa is a commercial hotel with some kind of you get
with the picture.
yes. Now imagine that kind of thing goes. You start stealing your peace, because that information, whether true or not, has stolen your peace. Any information that will steal my peace, the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence. Or I have the responsibility to guard my heart, and part of that responsibility is that I will not allow you bring me negative information. I will guard my heart with all diligence so that I have my peace. Let me find out myself. Let it come to me. Don't be the channel, don't be the carrier, because there is nothing you can do about it.
Okay, you are playing the gatekeeping role. They should not even cross the gate for telling you
yes
things about your wife.
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Liu, and your wonderful blend of panelists. Thank you so much for these topics. I'm enjoying and learning. Mr. Liu, keep up the good work. Daisy writing them. Now, Apostle Ambe, Valentine, and Ngwa. Some people say that when you listen to, when you give room, you don't shut the door for people to gossip, tell you the things they hear about your spouse. They are also just providing a forum for them to gather information from you to go tell about you to other people. What they tell you of your spouse, they are telling others about you.
Mr. Liu, if an outsider is telling you who is your wife, you are a horse and not a husband. If an outsider is telling you who is your husband, then you are a stranger, not a husband. Nobody should tell me my wife more than I do. I can't live with a woman for 10 years. You live with her for 2 hours. You want to tell me what she is. Accepting to hear about my spouse from somebody else means I've denied my position in the man or the woman's life. In other words, I don't know what I'm living with. You are the one that is telling me what I'm living with. For somebody to be telling you what you are living with from outside, and you are living with a person inside the house, is a clear indication that you have lost your position as a man or a woman. You've left the level of humans, you've descended to a level of an animal, because it is absolutely impossible that you will tell me the code of my phone. Then I'm trying to learn the code of my phone from somebody who does not use that phone every day. By so doing, it closes the door of another person. That doesn't mean that a gossip from outside cannot be true. But listen, to be sincere, it is better you don't know something that is bad than that it filters into your ears. If it enters into your ear, you may create some tension that is not even necessary. So it is important when people come to tell that I saw your husband in so and so place, tell the person that you did not see my husband, and you don't know that man I am married to more than me. You must have met his duplicata somewhere. It's not my husband. By the time you close those doors, people will know your stance, understand your position. The day that God will want you to catch your husband or your wife, if they are in infidelity, it shouldn't be a stranger that will tell you. The scripture says, if you catch, not that if somebody catches for you. Before God gave that responsibility to us, he knows very well that the information must be authentic and visible. Secondly, we've also known that there are some people who are in love with your husband more than you. And a nice way to take you out of that relationship is to poison you concerning the man. When you pack out, the man gets married to the same person that encouraged you to walk out of that house. I have seen this trend of events repeat themselves in front of me over and over. Anybody who brings bad news concerning your spouse doesn't love you. Number one, he does not love your health condition, because the bad news, even if it is true, it will traumatize your head. So he is not a friend, he's a foe. He's a foe, he's an enemy. He should have considered your heart condition, your blood pressure, before divulging such information to you. So even if the person is playing the role of a saint, he is a saint with the garment of a devil, coming to give you an information that is not good for yourself. It is important for you to be ignorant about something and live long than to be conscious of something that will kill you for your time. As a matter of fact, many people are not in a position to hear certain informations. That is the reason why sometimes even a man's mother can die. Because of his health condition, they will conceal the information from him. And if anybody loves anybody in this life, you should not be a peddler of bad info, bad information. You must be a transmitter of good news. That's why Jesus came with the gospel. The word for gospel is good news, not bad news. So a transmitter of bad news is somebody who is not a helper. It doesn't come to bail you in life. Now, lastly, we must also understand that the people who are so much interested in bringing news about your spouse to you will definitely take news about you to others. A gossip is a gossip in a horizontal and a vertical dimension. A gossip is a gossip forward and backward. As he transports information this way, he would definitely is good to you. Tomorrow they will carry your own news to somebody else. Those are people who have nothing to do. Lastly, before I drop the mic, any couple, I repeat, any couple who has it at the back of their mind that they have to send people to investigate their spouses, such an individual has signed his death and burial without knowing. Because that human being you are living with in the house, I can guarantee you, can do and undo.
Okay, can do and undo. Let's listen to our our sister up there in Bomenda, Asanji. Yvette, tell us what she thinks about this.
We live in a world where people gossip a lot. Sometimes it can be negative gossip, it can be positive gossip. But obviously, what we have, all the time is the negative ones. So should you go as far as investigating a gossip on a spouse or on a partner? The answer is no. First thing is because it's a foolish thing to do. If you want to go out there to start asking what you've heard about your spouse and stuff like that, trust me, you're going to hear more than what is actually happening. Sometimes you can even hear what is not even happening at all. They can tell you things that are not true. A lot of people envy your relationship, a lot of people envy your marriage. And if you want to depend on gossip, you're going to lose that marriage. Now, the first thing is because there are people that really want to see you out of your marriage. There are people that are praying to see that your marriage fails. So if you go to them to find out what you heard about your spouse or some kind of things, trust me, they're not going to tell you anything that can add strength to your marriage. They're going to discourage you. They're going to tell you things that are not true. Let's say that maybe it's true. Yeah, let's say it's true that what they're saying is true. But guess what? They're going to tell you in a way that will make you feel really, really, really down. So if you really want to do that, know that you are putting a crack on the wall of your marriage. First, why should you even go out there asking someone else about your spouse? Why shouldn't you go back to your spouse if you heard something about your spouse? Why can't you go back to your spouse and find out from them? Not like you're trying to interrogate them or something. You come to them, you say, baby, can you believe what somebody told me about you? Don't even say somebody. Guess what? Be straight to the point. Call names. Because if you want to hide it, you're making everything worse. Tell your spouse, baby, can you believe what this person told me about you? I really thought about it. I said, this is really stupid. How can this person be gossiping about my spouse to me? What were they thinking? And you kind of join your spouse to condemn what somebody was trying to do. And guess what? Even if it was right, even if what they told you was right, your spouse is going to adjust. So marriage requires a lot of wisdom. Don't go out to investigate anything about your spouse. If there is something you need to know about your spouse, go back to them. Ask them. You heard something about them, ask them. Remember to call the name so that you will not be like you're taking side with whoever said what.
Okay, that was Yvette contributing from Bomenda, Northwest Regional Capital. Apostle Alfred, many of us who are in relationships and marriage have a false impression that the majority of the people are happy with the relationship, not knowing that if we were to sample the hearts of people, those who are against any good thing are far greater than those who actually want to see things fail.
Yeah, actually, I was watching a video on on TV, on Facebook the other time about Prophet Jeremiah in Nigeria, where he was prophesying to a particular woman, and this he was prophesying that this woman, the husband gives her everything. The husband is working in an oil company and has so much money, and gives her everything she wants, even bought her a car and did a lot of things for this woman. But she started suspecting that the husband is going out with some other person. So she went and hired somebody to go around and investigate the husband. So the person went quite all right to investigate and came back and told the woman that your husband is having another lady somewhere else, while it is not true. And the day that woman confronted the husband that you are having another woman, where this man that is very busy, doesn't have time for those kind of things, he was so angry, and he said, from today you're not going to have all those facilities anymore, no money for you, no upkeep or no whatever. So she was like trying to put the marriage again fine, and it was not going. So she did not even know what was wrong. But that day when she came, a prophecy came out, and they discovered that was what was the problem. Now, why did that investigator come back and tell the full story? One, he wants to keep having money. He wants to keep getting something from you. Now, it's not everybody that's happy with what you have. Some people will always want to come and put asunder where it is. Now, that peace you have in your house, not everybody likes it. That joy you have, maybe sometimes you move with your husband, not everybody likes it. There's a girl somewhere that is admiring that husband and is ready to take. If you allow that man to date, that girl will rush and come around. Some of the people who come around and even gossip, they are the ones that are trying to separate that particular marriage, that they can come in. And sometimes it's even some elderly mothers, like we're in the church sometimes. Some of these elderly mothers are gossips. Yes, no, there is no joke about it. They know how to tarnish people and destroy them. There are some people that are in church today, they are not married up till now, because there's a mother that will come and tell a suitor that girl you see is like this, and then instead of the boy to come close and say, but this mama told me that this is what you are, and let that person express themselves, he said no, and they end there. And then the mama will propose another girl for the woman. It's only after that, when they get into marriage and discover that things are not working for them, then he will now open up. He say, I wouldn't even marry that other girl, but you did it, and then things will begin to open up. Some of these mamas are really, don't mind some of these mothers. Some of them are really gossips. They decide to destroy your marriage, to destroy it anyhow. They're not happy. They're not happy. And their children are not doing well. They don't want other people to do well. So I will look into this very critically. Gossip is something that is reigning now. Everywhere you see it, especially those of you having distant relationship. I have a situation where one of my daughters now, she lives in Tico. Somebody around saw her maybe talking with somebody, and then immediately they sent a WhatsApp message to the husband who is out of the country, and telling them that we saw a boy coming into the house to your wife, to your fiance, with having sex with your fiance in the same house where your daughter is, where your child is. And for us to try to find out when the girl explained to us, we decided to find out what really happened, and we discovered that it was a small boy around the quarter that is just jealous about how that girl lives, how she lives very well. She sent that message to that boy, and when they are trying to get to the boy is dodging to pick the number again. He doesn't want to get to that. So you see now that if we didn't go to do those investigations ourselves, that boy did not want to believe the wife. And this kind of thing. So we see that a lot of people are trying to spoil marriages, especially those living abroad. Now, when they tell you abroad that your wife is cheating this place, in where you are, down in the, what will you do? Heart breaks, heart attack. You cannot walk. You cannot do what you're doing. You'll be paralyzed. Nobody wants good things for you. Most people will not want good things for you. And anybody that gossips and come and tell you, they don't love you. Just like Apostle Ambe was saying, your health is at stake. So many things are at stake. Okay, for example, Doctor, I heard somebody told me the other day. He said, man picking a phone like a onions. Man picking a phone like a onions. Where if you open up for look it must enter your eye. That's what they talk. Man picking a phone like a onions. Where if you open them, it go enter your eye. Now you know that it will enter your eye. Why do you go there? It won't help you. Don't go to something that will give you heartache, heart attack, heartbreak, and after that to recover. Some of you have stroke. Some of you cannot walk again because of what you saw in your husband's phone or your fiance's phone or some kind of things. Some of these things, leave them. If they have not come out to you, it means that it was not yet time. But yours truly, if you're a child of God and you are praying so seriously, one thing God will do is that he will reveal some things to you. Number two, God will help you to change people. God will help you to change your husband. God will help you to change your wife. That's exactly what God will do. If he discovers that you depended on him, it will help you. But if he discovers that you are very smart, you want to be making investigations, you want to find out, you want to run here and go here and go here, God will allow you for yourself. And then, even if you discover it, what will you do? God will not be there to protect you because you have taken things into your hands. And at the end of the day, what happens? You are the one going to the hospital, and the guy is there going back to continue with the girls that maybe he had or some kind of things. And that is it. So I call on my brothers and sisters, please don't allow some negative feelings in your heart. Sometimes it's not even someone that gossips to you. Sometimes it's you, your curiosity. You are just so inquisitive. You don't have trust for the people that you have around you. They are somewhere else. Even if they are doing what? Let me tell you something. Just trust something. Just put trust in your heart so that you can, like Apostle Lefoh Divine said, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. That is it. Guard your heart, protect your emotions, than to begin to scatter your emotions. I hear say the follow some girl for market. I hear say he didn't have for up this side. I hear say after all those I hear say, even if all those I hear say is true, what will you do? Highest thing is he will either beat you, he will either, like Apostle Ambe just said again, he said that people can do and undo. Some person can take you out of the way only because you want to keep on doing what he's doing.
Okay. This was good evening to you all. If you hear that your wife was supposed to get married to one teacher, but because she committed an abortion, the teacher stopped the marriage, will you investigate the gossip? Okay. Yeah, difficult one there. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Please don't support your panelists. Mr. Pastor in yellow said, even God can't change anyone who doesn't want to change. I don't know how I'm supporting. Eric is writing from Bafoot. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the entire panelists. For me, listening to gossip is not really good. Gossip is unconstrained and often derogatory conversation about other people and can involve betraying a confidence and spreading sensitive information or hurtful judgments. There is a saying that what you don't know won't kill you. Keep educating us with important topics. I am Aiden V of watching from Halifax in Canada with my best friend from Jamaica, Kevin Lindsay, who always tune in for this program. Thank you very much. I extend our greetings to your Jamaican friend. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I always enjoy my Media Prime because you bring very good topics. Greetings to everybody there. If a woman comes, tell another woman, I saw your husband in a hotel with a woman. She is campaigning to take him. And if a man comes and tell another man, I saw your wife in a hotel, no, he wants to take her. All you can do is I did not send behind. I did not send you behind my wife or husband. What did you go to do in the hotel yourself? Barrister Stanley is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you. Excuse me. Kang Delphine writing from Yaoundé says, good evening, Mr. Liu. There is positive and negative gossip. If my husband has a child somewhere and I find out that any of my friends or family knew and didn't tell me, I'll never forgive them. We cause problems in our marriage and blame gossips. Live a life that people will look for ways to destroy your marriage, but won't know how to go about it. Okay, Delphine, good evening to you. This one says, good evening to you. Or please, this question is to Apostle. If your wife left your house because the sisters told her to do so, and by leaving she left with your child, what can I do to take my child? He is 2 years old. It's Ambe from Bamenda. Please, Apostle Ambe's number. Can you just write me after the program? I'll send you his number. Good evening, Mr. Liu and your panelists. I hear say it's truly a gossip, and I tell you it should not be investigated. Gossip is usually bad news. That is news that will break the heart. We should know that carriers of gossip have bad intentions. So when they come with their hearsay, tell he or she off in a way that he will never desire to gossip again. Dear married people, please do not encourage gossips. Let us build our marriage on trust. There is no reason to investigate a spouse that you trust. Thanks. I'm Charles, writing from Yaoundé. Good evening. How can we trust ourselves when we are married already? Yeah, we have to trust. Good evening to you guys, Mr. Liu and crew. Concerning the topic, we have to bear in mind that a partner is human as we are and prone to mistakes as well. The way you handle issues of cheating the first time can make or mar your marriage. Okay. Javelin Derek Walla writing from Jam. The message is too long and there are so many. If you write long messages, it's actually very difficult for me to read. Who is coming? Is it you? Okay. Now, also, idleness, is it not also a very fertile ground for gossips? That is, the wife is always there, maybe with the friends who are always there, spending time watching telenovelas and the like. Is that not also?
Yes, it in fact, the truth is, things can never come to you that you don't give access to. I was saying this the other day. I said I was teaching somewhere and I said something. I said there is a way nobody listens to a story, nobody continues talking a story that the listener is not interested in. Nobody will continue. You have ever tried to explain something? Have you ever been excited about a news and then when you are talking, the way the person is listening to, you get annoyed? In fact, every gossip looks but for an interested participant. And I want to say there's a proverb. Some proverb there. So you need to send hand for Enos, move soup. It means that if you like, begin to investigate your partner. There is nobody. That's why I keep telling you. I said, if I want to see something negative about you, if I investigate you long enough, I will find it. If you seek something negative of somebody, you will find.
Yeah, because that's the objective.
Yes, that's the objective. So I always, when I say that I will not allow gossip around me, it's because of my heart. It's not you. We are talking here primarily about, because the Bible says out of your heart flows all the issues of life. You understand? So before whether the story is right or wrong, I need my heart to be in good condition, because out of this heart is where I will have my peace, I will have my joy, I will have everything. When it starts playing with your mind, imagine it's playing with your mind and that is not true. So I am protecting my heart. And this idleness, when people don't have what to do, like how Apostle Alfred was talking here, these mamas, it's primarily idleness that usually bring those things. In fact, when we were growing up, they used to know mommy pastors to be very big gossips. Mommy pastors, no, that's the honest truth. When we were growing up, they used to know mommy pastors. Why? Because most of the times, mommy pastors never, it's not that mommy pastors are getting active in church. Most of the time, mommy pastors were only used for cooking rice in weddings, and when they have big pot, they know how to cook rice and big food and make foolery for weddings. So most of the times, they always had, in fact, most of the time when pastors' wives meet, they don't have any other thing to do. Most of the time, they were always discussing but people. So when people who don't have what to do sit and all they're doing is things like that must come up. We must be careful to ensure that we don't create an environment where something negative is said. Like I said, when you are protecting it, it's not whether it is true or not first. It's to ensure that your heart, your relationship, you have put a barrier, you have put a fence because you value it. There must be a defense. There must be a defense. And I want to really emphasize on this, that I used to say this, profile your man or your woman when you are dating. Profile your man or woman when you are in the courtship. When I say profile, it goes beyond even. I think that's the time you should be profiling to find out which kind of person he is. How does he approach life? What are his value system? These are things we should do before we enter the marriage. You will not marry and then start sending somebody to go and look, because especially when these things happen and it backfires and the person is actually innocent, you can now see somebody now begins to do something that they were not planning to do. Don't give room for that. Don't give room for that.
Okay, don't give room for that. Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa. Our sister in Momena said the best way to stop this, if you were to hear something, instead of going to investigate, talk directly to the person that, do you know this is what I hear, and see how to talk it out? Or you just give a deaf ear to it and move on with life?
Brothers and sisters listening to this program, listen to me very well now. Any woman that is conscious that you are married and can still accept your husband it means in her mind she can accept polygamy. She stands a better chance winning that man who loves 2 women than you who is trying to fit the man in a box of 1 woman. That is the reason why you must avoid things like gossip. Any woman that has accepted a man that is already married already have a mentality of having a co-wife. You who accepted the man when he was not married, you have the mentality of a single wife. So if you give way because of gossip, you are giving that woman chance, even if it was true or wrong, you are giving her chance to come and even occupy a single man, whereas she was willing to accept 2 of you. Number 2, the anus is part of the body. It doesn't smell good though, but you cannot throw away it. Cannot throw it away. That anus of yours doesn't smell good. But the truth is, it is playing a very pivotal role in your life. That if that odor was not passing through it, what is in your system will kill you. What am I trying to communicate through this proverb? Bad news about somebody does not make the person bad. And what people say or think about your spouse is not actually what you should think or say about your spouse. Calling a man to sit him down, to use wisdom to communicate what you heard outside, automatically depicts the fact that you have started yielding to what you heard outside. What we are trying to avoid here is that you should not even allow that information infiltrate you. Because if it enters into your system, you will one day out of anger, because words are seeds. Once they speak it, you absorb it and it settles in your subconscious. It's just a matter of time. A day will come where it will not even be an issue of gossip, of adultery or any crime. When something will spark up from within, you will say, is it because I've been sitting quiet? I heard this, and I heard that, and I heard that. It is because you allowed that wrong seed to be planted in your system. Then your husband suddenly is taken unaware to hear that such an information is in the wife's heart, and she kept it waiting for a situation to occur for her to vomit it. Then the man takes offense on that now.
I even keeps it, and I will keep.
He keeps it too and stays quiet. Yes. The day you do make a mistake, he vomits it. Now 2 of you start living on unforgiveness, on issues that practically never existed. And that unforgiveness can give birth to resentment. The resentment now can now give you a gap in the house. A man sleeps and face north, the wife sleeps and face south, because a seed was planted. The seed has no authenticity. The seed has no credibility. It was just a word spoken in the air and you accepted it.
Okay.
The truth is this, let me conclude. If a man tells you anything about your spouse, ask him, when did I send you as an agent or a spy behind my husband? Keep your information to yourself.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. This is Mr. Ng from Yaoundé. I always enjoy your wonderful topics and the choice of your panelists. Investigating a spouse is one aspect of you helping to fail your marriage. I say no to trying to find out what you heard, which may not even be true. The moment your spouse realizes you are investigating them, trust is lost, and it will take years to build that trust again. Good evening, Mr. Liu. There exist champions of gossips. Their phones are principal tools for this function. Good evening, Mr. Liu. To you all in the studio, I love the program. It really educated many, especially me. This question is from Apostle Ambe, Valentine. If you are not hearing from people outside and you do your investigations yourself, you found out your wife is cheating on you, and what can you do? Ambe is writing from Limbe. God will reveal it, and you definitely know what to do. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I am very happy with this program. I never knew I would meet this program on board. This is what one guy told me about 30 minutes ago, how he bought my wife phone when they were in the university. This has created a big problem now because my wife never told me. This program is very educative. Mr. Simon is watching from Yaoundé.
You see, I'm just saved a marriage.
Hello, Mr. Kum. Good evening, Bashiru from Way Village. I just wish to seek advice. What if the man, discover that they are struggling to destroy your relationship, and like me, I will not want to stay apart with my spouse? Please let me know how to deal with such nincompoops whose job is nothing than going around destroying people's relationships. Just ignore them. When you find yourself investigating gossip you hear about your partner, you may come to discover that what will hurt only you. Derek Walla is writing from Chang. To crown it all, a clever person solves a problem and a wise person avoids it. Jude Mingo is writing from Fumban. I hear say Nabatin. Any person coming to tell you anything about your wife or husband, take hot water and pour it on him or her. Okay, please, Mr. Leah, which questions to be answered? What is the question? Good evening to you all. Please, this question to the apostle. If your wife left your house because the sisters told her to do so, and by leaving she left with your child, what can I do to take my child? He is 2 years old. It's Ambe from Bamenda. Please, you requested for Apostle Ambe's number. Can you just ask for it after this program? I'll send it so that you go one-on-one with him. Please, can I have Pastor Abe's number? Just write to me after. Now, we have talked about cheating. I want you to answer this. Many persons will still be wondering, what if the cheating is hyper? That is gross cheating to the extent where you cannot take it, and we are getting the gossips. Almost everything shows that either the wife is so much into cheating or the husband is so much into adultery. Is there any place for divorce? And if that should be, what should run through the minds of either the man or the woman? I spoke with somebody today who told me that the best thing to do is to ask yourself the benefits of living together or the disadvantages of separation. Yeah.
Yes, that's what Apostle Ambe have been addressing here several times when he talks about, before you want to come to a conclusion to give up on someone, ask yourself what you're benefiting from that person, and ask yourself when you separate what you will get or what you will leave. Some of you are like, you're around 45 years old and you're thinking of divorcing. Some of you are 50 years old. You're divorcing for what? What do you want to do? The other years, the other age, you do what? Yes, with 5 children. Sometimes, you divorce and then hurt a whole now, a lot of people take their own personal sentiments and transfer it to a whole family. It becomes a family problem. Because you hurt your family, you hurt the public, you hurt the children you're supposed to abandon, and so on and so forth. Now, let me tell you something. What you would do to someone in this hyper cheating, because some women are experts to manage such people. They know that my husband is a cheat. They even know the husband's girlfriends and all the like. But they decide to say that, well, because of my children, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to manage. But when he comes to the house, I'll not allow him to touch me, because I'll tell him to go to the hospital first and check himself. If he is fine, then we will sleep together. But if not, he will not. A lot of women have decided to accept that, because they understand that there's just nothing they can do about it. Because even if I leave this man now, which other man am I going to get that is going to be better? Because a lot of things, you weigh some things. There are some things you weigh before you begin to take your judgments. Don't just get up and say my husband is hyper cheating and everything. The only thing you'd have done is that he can still take that wife and come back home and say that, what, I want this woman to be my second wife. And then after he enters again to another cheating again, he brings the other one as my third wife. I know of a director that left Nigeria and came to shoot film in Cameroon. He said that he has 3 wives. When he left the other wife in Nigeria, He went to Ghana and saw one beautiful girl there. He also entered now and married that one. He came to Cameroon here, he married that one. But all of them, it's like they don't even know that they exist. They don't know that they exist. You know, those kind of things where he married all of them. So this kind of thing. So men want as many women as possible. And we know that maybe as Africans, it's possible to have 5 wives, 6 wives, 7 wives. It's really possible. But if a man have decided to even keep you alone, and he's trying to keep you, and he's trying to keep your interest and everything, and he says, okay, maybe he cheats or whatever, and then he's hiding it to some extent, then know that he gives you some respect. And that is why he decides to keep some things like that, or she gives you some respect, because some of these women are very dangerous. They could just kill you overnight. They are the ones giving you food. They are the ones you are sleeping with them in the room as you sleep.
Yeah, we get information that a court registrar in Konsamba was stabbed to death today by the girlfriend.
Good.
One will never know. Yeah, out of anger and
yes, those are some of the things, because see, people's interests, especially when they don't want you to escalate the information, they can kill you. You catch somebody in a particular act, you say that for me to allow this person to go and scandalize or cause problem in my family, they set something on you and you die. That kind of a thing. So it's happening. People have lost their life. Well, I say that if you must go to the point of getting divorced, why don't you separate for some time? Because at the level of the court, they ask people to separate for some time. But though that separating for some time again will not also help the matter, because the man will just maybe live his life the way he wants to live. And so one other, one other person I was talking with yesterday just expressed herself and said that this man has left me and is living with another girl somewhere. They are married legally. He left you and is living with another lady somewhere. But your husband has not left you. He's still there. He's still patient. He's still providing for the house. He's taking care of the children. Still doing everything he's doing there. He's still supportive. He's still, at least he makes you laugh. Sometimes you cook, people eat together and that kind of a thing. But he feels that he cannot control that passion and that thing. I'm telling you, because a lot of people are suffering from this.
Okay.
All over, they're suffering from this.
Yeah, we get the last reaction from Bomenda, from Yvette Sanji. Tell us what she thinks about suspicion, investigation, and trust.
Investigating your spouse also shows lack of trust. In fact, it reveals a lot of things. The first thing is, it shows that you don't know your spouse, or you don't know your partner. You don't trust them. You don't trust your spouse. You don't communicate well with them, because if you do communicate well with them, you are not going to, go somewhere else to be asking something about your spouse. And then you trust others. You trust those outside more than you trust your spouse, which is absolutely wrong. It is absolutely wrong. And so if you have each ears you want to hear things about your spouse, guess what? You will hear things that doesn't exist. I'm telling you the truth, that people out there that can really make things look like they are real when there's nothing. When there's nothing. So if you want to listen to people, you put a crack on your wall, you have more problems in your marriage, you have more trust issues in your marriage. So what you should do when you hear a gossip, first of all, don't even entertain gossip about your spouse. Don't even do that. Don't investigate gossip about your spouse. But should in case something like that comes into your hearing, be matured enough to come back to your spouse, like I said. Ask them about it. Don't even ask them. You share with them. Remember, your spouse is your friend. If you've had friendship in your marriage, if your spouse is your best friend, then obviously you can discuss everything and anything and at any time. So come back to them, and then let the two of you gossip about what has been gossiped about him or about her. The two of you come and talk about what was said, and then after that you make a shield against such lies, against such gossips. Gossip, there is no gossip that will come to fix any marriage. There is no gossip that will come to add any strength to any marriage. What gossip does is coming to break. And if you really want to listen to gossip, then you yourself, you're a gossiper. Yes. Because guess what? Before you even come closer to me to talk about my spouse to me, what? I'm going to halt you right there. Keep it to yourself. I don't need to know that. I know who I'm married to. You don't need to tell me who I'm married to. So keep what you know about him or keep what you know about her to yourself. So don't entertain gossips. Don't investigate it. It is not going to do you any good.
Okay, Apostle Lefoh Divine, but when you entertain gossips and even going to investigate, are you not embarrassing yourself to the world? That is making the world understand that you even do not know the person you're living with? Isn't it an embarrassment to the world?
I think that's what I've been singing here. I won't, because these same people, the more you entertain it, the more you are giving them vibes to go and talk outside. Because sometimes the more you entertain it,
just came
you
to
might
for more information.
You might even find yourself explaining another thing in the house. Say, did you talk so? No wonder that day, and now you told it makes sense. The other day around 7 o'clock, each of come on say, you want to for road. I seen around 9:30.
She has gathered.
Now that's new information.
She has gathered gist for another.
That will add and go and multiply and do somewhere else. I think it is disgraceful to stand separated to the world.
Okay.
In fact, even when things are really bad, we must stand as a united front in a marriage until it has come to that place where there's separation. And I really want to say this because I think time is over. I want to say this. People should know this, and I'm saying this to Christians, non-Christians, whatever it is. There is no man that should say he cannot do something, because even listening we're talking like that, never use say, even when people have killed this girl that has killed a man, if they told her maybe 2 months ago that you can kill a man, they will not believe.
This guy,
a 16-year-old girl took a gun, shot herself for a man. It is crazy. So, yes. So imagine, I used to tell people, I said, don't think there's, I guard my heart. Why? You don't know that there is murder in you. You don't know that there is suicide in you. Guard your heart. You can hear that thing and turn and do something and end your life in prison. Whether it is true or not, protect yourself. You understand? Yes, because you can go mad. You can poison somebody. You can go and attack somebody. You cannot plan. You might go to attack somebody. You're not going to kill. In the heat,
burns down a whole house.
Yes, in the heat of that thing, you can react in a way. You understand? So when I say protect your heart, it's because you don't know your capacity. You don't. The same way that, and when you understand like this, you also understand that somebody can do something. So you protect your heart because you can find yourself doing something that you never believe you could do.
I think I don't know whether we take another rendezvous to discuss this next week, because we've not really exhausted time. We're out of time. So we are going to do part 2 next week, next Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay. We want to say thank you to you, Apostle, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Joe. Thank you, Cameroonians. It's always a joy to be here. For those of you who are following me through my WhatsApp platform, Mathematics, you can still take my number. For those of you who don't have it, 693-105191. 693-105191. Write to me. I will give you the link. You will join. And there is a great move going on there. Thank you.
Okay. We also want to say thank you to you, Apostle Alfred, for coming.
Thank you very much. It's always a privilege to talk to the world and to the people in Cameroon concerning issues that has to do with relationship. I want to say that a lot of you have been contacting me behind. You've been going to my Facebook, Alfred Lisinge, just like that, Alfred Lisinge. You go to my Facebook, even though it's full, just send me a friend request. I'll know how to get you in and try to see how to help you in one way or the other. Truly, a lot of people have been blessed by this program. Please keep watching it every Tuesday, 7 p.m. I know there's also a rebroadcast that you also want to watch. And at any time you want to get our numbers, you can contact Mr. Liu. He will give you a number.
Okay. Also, thank you to you, Apostle Lefoh, for coming.
It's always a pleasure, and I'm grateful. I am excited. I am honored to be here, and I want to celebrate the world. Some people have been asking about device consulting, the things we do. Yes, we consult people, whether Christians or not Christians. I am a marriage counselor and a relationship expert. Some people have been contacting. Please stay connected. Keep doing so. And please, Mr. Leo, I just want to say that I'll talk about it next week. My anniversary of the ministry, Wisdom Center, is also this month. I'll give you details as it's coming. You can follow me on Facebook, Lefoh Divine. Send me a friend request. God bless you.
Okay, we want to thank you, Sanji Yvette, who took part on the program from Amanda. You were the lone lady amongst 3 powerful men of God this evening. We say we are very grateful for your participation. We equally want to say thank you to the production team and to you, Tabitha and Bryant, who is supervising the work we do out here. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
No, sir.